Hey, it's Mosquito, also known as Chris. Welcome to the shop. Stuff's changed. I guess we'll call this one another What's in the Shop, and we'll go take a quick tour and see some of the stuff that's moved around on you. Alright, so first things first, the back corner of the shop has moved around a bunch, and the CNC used to come out at a 90-degree angle this way, but I've since moved that back against the wall, and then I got some new shelves installed and put up, and I moved all of my, I guess, plain collection over up onto those shelves along with their boxes. And the reason for doing that is because I wanted to get rid of the shelf in the corner that was up over that way, and moved the desk from this wall over to the back wall. And so right now, most of what's on the shelves up here were things that kind of got displaced when I moved the shelves. And those shelves actually ended up over in that corner. And I took out all the long sections. So it used to be a 18 by 36. And I took out all the long sections, made a new base for it to put some wheels under it. And so now it's basically a 2-shelf or 3-shelf 18 by 18. And the reason I did that is to get some better storage space or storage utilization out of the stuff that I have. This is kind of the quote-unquote environmental stuff. I've got a dehumidifier for the summer, as well as a portable air conditioner, again, for the summer. This is a dual vented unit, so it's got an intake and an exhaust, and I've got the holes drilled in the bottom panel of the garage door back here behind it, so that's why I kind of want to keep it, or need to keep it over here. So I just kind of built the base for it to make the cart mobile, or the shelving unit mobile. So I've got the humidifier for the winter, because it gets stupid dry in here, and then the parts for the air conditioner. When I need to use that, I have to use that to hook it up. So this is where that shelf moved to, and that I actually kind of like, because now it cleaned this up quite a bit, just getting things better organized. And I've got all my Siglies are down, so these are all my Sigli hand planes, and those used to be in a display cabinet up over here on a shelf, which I took down. And then the Keen Cutter wall cabinet, tool cabinet, was hanging on the wall. That came down. There was another kind of sign that's just on the desk over there that I took down, as well as another kind of advertisement thing. And those pictures are really crooked. So I basically flipped one. That one used to be over here, so I just flipped it to the other side, because eventually, and by eventually I mean it'll probably be the next thing I do, that is all going to end up where I'm standing now. So that blank wall I emptied out, moved the computer stuff over, and the kind of, I guess, the tool cabinet, base cabinet, till, sawtill stuff is moving over to the wall. And then the 2 mobile workbenches are going to go over here where my hand tool workbench is, and then the hand tool bench is going to kind of go out in front of this empty wall where the tools are going to go. And then the computer bench here is going to just kind of move that way a little, and hopefully that will be a better flow. I don't know. We'll see. Basically, I'm just moving a bunch of stuff around over and over again until I find something that I like. You know, everything's on wheels. One reason is because then I can keep moving things around until I find what I like. And then the other reason is because I've had water problems in here before, and having everything up off the ground is good. Tool stuff is over here along the wall now, and the workbench got moved. So basically it rotated from over there to over here, because this is basically how it was set up when it was over there by the garage door. This I don't really know what I'm going to do with that. It's displaced at the moment. I just don't know what to do with it. It may very well end up just going here, and we'll just deal with it later. In fact, that's probably fairly likely at this point. And the computer table is over here. So that got moved kind of behind those two benches. Those two benches ended up over there, kind of in front of the table saw. And the rationale behind that, and this is something I'm not 100% sure on yet. I may end up moving those still, but if I can get and keep the computer table clean, or maybe move the computer stuff into the house once I'm done with the current mod project, I may end up switching back, so moving those two benches over here somehow and moving the computer bench over, just because the computer bench is actually about the same height. It's about 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch lower than the table saw, so it would actually make for a pretty good infeed. You know, if I just had some space that I wanted to basically rest some work pieces on before I feed it into the table saw for the longer pieces, that would be pretty convenient. But regardless, once I get at least the one bench cleaned off, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the saw making stuff, the Foley stuff. I may end up making yet another kind of bench just for those two things, just because that bench is a little bit bigger than it needs to be for just those. So I might do that and then move it over to where the Barnes mortiser is, if I can get the size to work out right. And then I have both of those benches kind of in front of the table saw, because I've realized that having something in front of the table saw where I can just set pieces before I run them through the table saw and or after would be really nice, just because I seem to always pile things on top of my workbench or in front of my workbench, and it's not ideal for that, just because I got a lot of stuff on it frequently, mainly this corner over here where I've got mallets and clamps and the bin thing full of pens and pencils and pliers and scissors and whatever, and stuff in the tool tray and whatnot. So that was kind of the rationale behind that, and so far I kind of like it. I might still have to play with where exactly they end up. They may get moved over towards the actual shelving stuff or the front wall a little bit more, just to get a little bit more room. It's not bad, but there's a little bit of a smaller gap in between the corner of the bench and the corner of that other mobile bench, and so I guess I could move this over as well. It doesn't have to be that far over. I just did because I figured, why not? So that's pretty much going to be it for this one. I appreciate those of you that stuck around, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I would appreciate it if you did that as well. And until the next time, I will catch you in the next one.